Starfield's REV8, the brand new space buggy that released in mid-August, and it's absolutely awesome. It has revamped the exploration for the game and made exploring things a hell of a lot better. It came with the news of the Shattered Space DLC, which I'm very excited to get stuck into and start covering in the next few weeks. We've got plenty of videos coming and there's a lot of news that has come out. But today we're going to go over the REV8 and go over a few things you may not have known about it. Now, the REV8 released on the 20th of August, so around about 3 weeks ago at the time this video goes out. And the REV8 is basically a space buggy. I do think it's something that should have been included in the base game, but considering Bethesda don't really do vehicles, and this is the first one for them, it is actually really good. I wasn't expecting it to perform as well as it does. I was expecting it to be a buggy piece of crap that was slow, junky, and didn't really do too much. Now, admittedly, it is slow. A lot of the footage that they've shown is obviously done really well to make it look like it's moving a lot faster than what it is, as you can see by the background footage. But then compared that to this here, which is it just driving around normally, it's not that fast. The boost is great and it does work nicely. But it has many other brilliant qualities to it. You can have a new companion in there, which is great news. The companions will sit either in the back if it's Vasco, or if it's a human companion, they will sit next to you in the passenger seat. But as this buggy is driving along and blasting through the systems, there's new dialogue lines. Vasco comes up with some pretty eventful things if you're going over big hills and jumping around like a madman.
An impressive jump, Captain. Redlining vehicle. Captain, be aware that collision avoidance warnings have not been installed in this vehicle.
And it is actually quite cute. And the dialogue lines also depend on your driving style and skill. If you're driving around like a complete and utter dick, like you've had 75 beers, then they will comment on your dodgy driving style. But if you're driving nicely and peacefully, there's some other things that they are saying, which is quite cool. I do like the new dialogue lines that have been added into it. Now, another beautiful thing about this is it's got two boosters. It's got a forward booster and a upward booster. So we can go forward, get a little bit of speed, or you can go up vertical and get a decent chunk of height out of it. Now, obviously, these boosters do depend a lot on the gravity of the planet you're on. If you're on a low gravity planet, these things will speed you up quite a lot more. If you're on a high gravity planet, then they do a normal amount. But when you're floating around, if you can get some good air, you can keep this thing in the air for quite a while. Now, considering it is a space buggy, I would have thought it would handle the rocks and the bumps and the jumps a little bit better than what it does. But it does seem like there's something off with the sort of hitboxes of the rocks. And the slightest rock seems like a giant mountain to you, and you bump into it and come to a dead stop, which is really irritating. I didn't like the way that it handles over those bumpy surfaces. I thought the suspension on it would sort it out a little bit, and you could go over some of those smaller rocks without too much of an issue, but unfortunately not. Now, where it sets itself apart from just generally running around like a madman, this thing gets you around a little bit quicker than running, jumping and boosting. And it also has the ability to scan. So you can have your scanner open whilst driving this round, still come across all of the resources, scan the resources as you're going. It also has with it something very cool, and that is a laser. There's a weapon on top which can be used to farm resources. You can shoot rocks, you can shoot all sorts of stuff, and gain the resources from shooting those as you're driving around. So you're not constantly having to get in and out of the space buggy, which is really helpful when it does come to exploration. Now, you can actually upgrade the weapon on there by upgrading the laser skill and the heavy weapon and demolition skills. Upgrade those three skills and this will provide a slight buff to the actual laser itself. Now, when it comes to combat, it's actually quite good. It does work really nicely. It's not as crap as I thought it was going to be. Using it, taking down resources and gathering resources, I didn't think it'd be too good in a combat situation. But it is alright. The only downside to that is obviously the hitboxes of items that are dotted around. You are bouncing off of things as you're trying to get through. If you've got a big open area and you can take out some enemies, it does work really nicely. So I do like that. That is quite cool. It also goes into slow motion when you aim the turret. So if you are blasting through an area, you want to use that slow motion feature to take a couple of pop shots at some enemies or some resources. You can do that and it helps the targeting and tracking really, really nicely. It's very simple. It's going to cost you 25,000 credits. Go to the nearest ship vendor, speak to these guys or ship service technician. Anywhere that's got a landing pad on a major inhabited settlement or city, you will come across one of these guys. Go speak to him, give him your 25k, bish bash bosh, you've got yourself a space buggy. Now with this space buggy, wherever you go, it doesn't matter, it will land next to your ship. It's not something that's in your ship. You don't need a sort of module that allows it to be inside the ship and transported and you have to drive it out, which I do think is a missed opportunity there, and I'm assuming there'll be some sort of mod eventually for that. But it does just spawn next to your ship wherever you go. So that did push aside my concerns about using the Starborn ship with the space buggy, which is great news. It just spawns whenever and wherever you want it, and wherever your ship is. Now, with it being usable with a blaster, that is a good thing, because it's also indestructible. It doesn't die, doesn't matter what you do. I've tried all sorts of stuff and it won't blow up. Yes, there may be a bug here and there where it flies to the other side of the map, but that's fine because you can open your scanner and fast travel directly to it, which is great news. It makes things a lot easier and a lot smoother. Now, as it's pretty indestructible, another good thing about it is you can use it as battering ram if you really want to. It's not that effective, but, you know, if your laser's running out a little bit, because the laser works the same as things like the cutter, where it's got a certain amount of sort of battery power, and then as you use it, that battery power becomes redundant, and then you have to wait a second for it to recharge, which is quite cool and works really, really well. Other than that, though, it is an all-round pretty cool vehicle. You can customize it ever so slightly with the paints, and that is done through the ship services technician, as I mentioned at the start of the video. Simply head back over to those guys, have a little bit of a chat, and you can customize the colors on it. And it's also in your ships section, so pretty cool. I'm glad that they added this. I do think there was a few missed opportunities and tricks with it, though. Where it could be vastly improved is the speed. It is very, very slow compared to what they showed in a lot of the footage, which I do think is a shame. It looked really, really quick in that original footage, and as opposed to that, though, it's not that great. It moves quite slowly, but getting around the planets quickly, it does work. It's faster than running, it's more entertaining than running, but it's a little bit of a kick in the nuts because it looked so much quicker than what it actually is. So big shame, but still it works really, really well, and I'm happy with it overall. Now when it comes to traversing and you are bumping into those rocks, it is a little bit annoying, but that can always be negated by using your boost powers, getting over those rocks a little bit as you're just traversing and driving around. And it also depends on the planet that you are actually settling on. So I do think they missed a big opportunity, though, with being able to build a sort of garage module. There is a mod out there now for that. That's on Nexus Mods, I believe. I don't think it's a Creations mod, but you can actually have a garage in your home base where you can pull the car in, and I'm pretty sure you can modify and change the paint job, which is quite cool. I do like that. But yeah, having that garage is cool. I do think it would have been better. They missed an opportunity having an extra module on the actual ship. Whereas in a lot of the ships, your back section anyway is relatively big. You have to run into a big open section to get into the ship. I think expanding that size a tiny bit, having the buggy inside that and being able to just drive it off the back of the ship would have looked so damn cool. And just being able to watch the back of the ship drop down, the opening hatch, and then the buggy drive out as a sort of cinematic piece would have looked really cool in the trailer. Ah well, I'm not a creative director and I know nothing about creating games, so that could be something that's really difficult to do. Not 100% sure. But what do you think? Do you like the REV8 Space Buggy? Are you enjoying it so far? Let me know in the comments down below, and we'll be back in a few days' time with some Shattered Space news. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. Currently working on a video, gathering all of the information that I can find about what we've seen over the last few weeks since Gamescom. There's been a lot of little bits dripped and drabbed through various news articles, publications. So just gathering all of that together, and we'll see what new stuff we've got. I'm very excited for Shattered Space. It is currently just 18 days away. Cannot wait. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Will you be checking out Shattered Space? Are you enjoying the REV8? For now though, I've been Cowboy, you've been awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.